We arrived in Mexico City Airport around about midnight. We had a flight to catch Guadalajara the next morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, so as you can imagine, the thought of having to sleep overnight in the airport wasn't exactly appealing. The website apparently rates it as 6 skull and crossbones out of 10. Oh, here we are at Guadalajara, and we're just about to catch a taxi to Tequila country. Well, whatever you have heard about tequila, one thing you can be sure about is that if it doesn't come from Mexico, it isn't tequila. Tequila is Mexico, really. As you're leaving Guadalajara Airport, you notice that you're going pretty much up the whole time. The Jalisco state is very high, about 2,300 meters, and yeah, the whole area is quite desert-like. It's got really rich red soil, and that's ideal for the agave plant. The origin of the word tequila is unclear, but it's suspected that it comes from the name of the volcano upon which the town sits, which looks like a small woman's breast. In Spanish is Tequila. Welcome to Tequila, the home of this fabulous drink in Mexico and in fact the world. About an hour from Guadalajara by yellow airport taxi, and didn't get ripped off too badly. And of course, Tequila is the centre of the small area, the only place in the world where they can make this fabulous drink from the agave plant and call it tequila. So everywhere else it's called mezcal, which is mostly in other parts of Mexico. I have to admit that I was a little bit dubious about going to Mexico, and I'm pleased to say my experience was quite different than my expectation, especially out in the country areas. Despite the chaps with machine guns everywhere, you feel very safe. There's lots of families and kids and people about, and it just seems very friendly and relaxed. This stuff here is from the agave plant, but it's unfermented juice, so it's what you would get if you weren't making tequila from it, I suppose. It's very refreshing, but it's pretty strong, so we didn't quite manage to get through a whole container of it. If you happen to go to Tequila Town as a tourist, you won't be able to help but notice that every 5 minutes somebody is offering you another tequila tour to go on. So we grabbed a ride in this interesting looking vehicle to La Coffradiere. Mexicans seem pretty relaxed when it comes to most things, including road rules and building codes. However, when it comes to tequila, they are definitely not relaxed. The rules are extremely strict and they are enforced. The most important rules are the Appellation of Origin rules. These are similar to the laws for sherry and champagne and cognac. They specify the exact regions in Mexico where you're allowed to make tequila. This includes the Jalisco state and 4 other counties in other states. Other rules also cover things like bottling, the aging process, the exact names they are allowed to use for the specific types of tequila, as we'll see later on. And they're very important for protecting the authenticity and the quality of this product. Tequila for Mexico is almost probably their most significant product, and certainly one of the most recognisably Mexican products in the world. Outside of the approved tequila making regions, the drink that is made using the same agave plant or a variety of it is called mezcal. In the wide world of spirits, tequila is very unusual in that the base product in which it's made from takes a very long time to come to maturity. Between 8 to 10 years is the required growing period. This contrasts with other grain and cereal crops, which only take a single season to produce. On bottles of tequila, you'll often see the words azul agave. Azul is a Spanish word for blue, and as you can see, the agave plant, which is not a cactus, but actually a relative of the lily, it's a succulent, does have a blue tinge to it. The first distillery we visited was at La Coffradiere, and with the señorita's help and a few shots from Jose Cuervo as well, we'll learn about tequila.
The factory has been working for 12 years, and the plant that we use to make tequila, it's the blue agave or Tequila Blue Weber, and the time of maturation, it's 8 to 10 years. And when the plant is 3 years, around the plant grew up a little plant. Did you see the fields when we was coming here? The little one?
Yeah.
We call it hijuelos, like a little baby.
Okay.
And when the hijuelo is 3 months, we need to take it and transplant it for another fields. We change to the fields.
Right.
And every plant needs only the rain, so the plant is like a cactus or different desert plant that we have. Here in Mexico, we have more than 120 different kinds of that plants. For example, the mezcal, maguey, lechuguilla.
Right.
But for the tequila, it's only the blue agave.
Blue agave.
It's like when you say lemon, lime, grapefruit. So it's the same family, but all they produce different drinks.
Yeah.
And do you know what's the name of the people who cut the leaves? We call it jimador. The jimador is the person who cut the leaves.
Right.
And when they put the plant, looks like a pineapple. Have you ever seen them before?
I've seen, back in town, yeah.
But the real name is the heart of agave. And to make 1 liter of tequila, we use 6 kilograms from the heart. Okay? And the heart is in the center. So you see?
Yeah.
And then inside. And we have 4 different kinds of tequila. We have the mixed tequila, that is 49 sugar cane and 51 sugar of agave. That's the cheap one that many people use for make margarita cocktails.
Yeah.
Mixed tequila. It's like tequila gold and silver Jose Cuervo.
Yeah.
And the best tequila is 100% of agave, blanco, white, reposado, or aniejo. Do you know what's the difference between all the 3 tequilas?
I think I do.
The time, the barrel.
Yeah, exactly.
Aniejo, it's more than a year in the barrel. It's 1 year to 5 years.
Yeah.
Reposado is less than a year.
Yeah.
It's 2 months to 11 months.
Yeah.
And the white is not aged in the barrel, so the white it's stronger. The flavor is more like agave plant.
Yeah.
And the flavor, it's clear, so it doesn't have color.
Yeah.
Any question do you have?
You're doing very well.
Okay, now we're going to see the process of elaboration in the factory. Okay, vamos a... Hay otras fábricas que nosotros utilizan autoclaves para acelerar el proceso, pero es como los frijoles para cortar las hojas y el hornero utiliza el hacha para partirlas por la mitad. Las parte por la mitad porque son muy pesadas y todo hace manualmente, porque es imposible cargarlas todas. Y ya después de 36 horas se le llama mezcal. ¿Sí lo han probado antes? After that process, continue this. This is the cooking process. Here we are going to cook the pineapple on the needle. Can you see there?
Yeah.
And then we put in the oven during 36 hours only with the steam ovens.
Yeah.
And that machines produce heat for the oven.
Right.
And the people who work here are the curry ovens. And the difference between the curry oven and the jimador is the instrument. The jimador uses the coa, like machetes, for cut the leaves. And the curry oven uses the axe for cut the pineapple on the middle. And after 36 hours in the ovens, we call it mezcal. It's very sweet. Have you ever tasted before?
Not yet.
No. Did you want to taste it? Okay.
Now this here is a piece of the pineapple, the heart of the agave plant after it's just come out of the steam cooker back there. And it's all been caramelized and you can eat this, it's very sweet. Has a very caramelly taste, almost tastes like sweet and sour pork. or maybe pumpkin or sweet potato, that sort of thing. Of course, it's not actually alcoholic because it hasn't been through the fermentation process yet. It's very tasty. I highly recommend it.
And we're going to squeeze the juice and separate the fiber. In the juice, we add a bacteria. The bacteria eats all the sugar that contain the juice because it's very sweet and becomes in alcohol. So the pineapple, it doesn't contain any alcohol. Take out the mezcal, the agave is Aniejo, mezcal. And then we are going to take out the mezcal. We put on that machine, and then there we put in little parts. Then we squeeze the juice and separate the fiber. The fiber of the agave is the rest, you see there. And the fiber we use for make cats, drunks, bricks, or the cows eats that. But all really without alcohol. Imagine the crazy cows or the happy cows. Now you cannot get drunk after the process of fermentation. When we add a bacteria, the bacteria eats all the sugar that contain the juice because it's very sweet and becomes in alcohol. In the old times, the people used to swim in there. Do you know why? You know, forget the bacteria that we have in our skin. It's like the wine, when the people step on the grapes, forget the bacteria that we have in our feet. In the tequila, with the bacteria we have in our body. But that was in the old times. Now, if we use the yeast, do you know yeast?
The yeast? Yes.
It's the same that we put in the bread.
The bread? Yeah.
And that bacteria eats all the sugar and becomes in alcohol. We need to wait three days for one fermentation process. And after 3 days, this is alcohol, but it's not very strong. It's only with 6%. And in a bottle of tequila, you're going to see 38 to 40% of alcohol. So we need to make the distillation process. So the bacteria die because the bacteria doesn't have anything to eat, and we need to separate the bacteria and the alcohol in this process. We put all the juice there in 90 degrees, and the alcohol evaporates, and after goes there here. The tequila in the first distillation you cannot drink, because if you drink, you can make blind or you can have a problem with your stomach. So one tequila minimum needs 2 times this process, maximum 3 times. The tequila in the second distillation is with 60% of alcohol, and we need to add distilled water because in a bottle of tequila you're going to see 38 to 40% of alcohol. So we need to add water. We can drink the tequila with 60%, but it's very strong and you can get drunk faster, so we need to add water. And the tequila in the third distillation is with 40% of alcohol, and we don't need to add more water, so that is more pure than the second distillation.
But more expensive.
And more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the white tequila is after this process to the bottle, so the color it's clear, it's stronger, and the flavor is more like agave plant. The white tequila,
blanco.
the blanco.
Blanco.
White tequila is in the barrel, it's in the market in 55 hours. And the other one we need to make we need to wait 2 months to 5 years. Okay? Right. And we need to wait 3 hours just for one distillation. So in 9 hours we finish this process. It's very fast.
What happens to the waste products after the distillation? Like what's left behind?
The first distillation, we send for make fertilizer or chemicals, so it's different.
Right.
And the rest, the bacteria, we use again in the distillation.
Right, for the fermentation process. What's the...
That's bacteria.
And the blue tanks and the...
Bacteria for the fermentation.
Right.
So we use like 3 times again.
Yeah. Oh, that's very efficient.
The leaves we use for fertilizer for another plants.
Yeah.
And the fiber, when we squeeze the juice, we use for make cats, worms, bricks. And the first distillation, we use for make chemicals, or we use anything about the tequila plant. Okay.
Now we've seen how they make tequila at La Coffradiere. Let's take a trip across town to Jose Corvo and we'll find out what it tastes like.
The first one is the white tequila that is produced after the distillation. They bottle straight away. Yeah. And we have the second type that is roasted tequila. Roasted tequila, we don't have roasted tequila here. The roasted tequila had to be inside the barrels, 3 months to a year.
Yes. Yeah.
And aged tequila.
Yeah.
the aged tequila has to be inside more than a year.
More than 1 year.
So it has like a more wood flavor.
Yes.
And it smells stronger.
Yeah.
And it tastes better.
Yeah.
Okay? First of all, we're gonna see the body of the tequila. So, do this, agiten un poquito y vean lo que queda impregnado en el cristal. So you will see the part of that is in the crystal is very oily. Can you see it?
On the
Exactly, that's oil. That means that this tequila has for a great distillation process and a great fermentation process. Okay, that's the wine tequila. Es el tequila blanco. Este tequila, como no tiene ningún tiempo en la madera, solamente huele a agave cocido. ¿Sí? Meses a un año dentro de la barrica. ¿Sí? Now we're gonna go to
Blanco.
Blanco tequila has a very edgy, strong, somewhat rough character. It's the most direct experience you can have of the agave flavour. And for this reason, it is very popular for use in cocktails like the Margarita. Most Mexicans actually prefer to drink reposado tequila, the rested tequila, and when you drink it for yourself you can tell why. It's quite a bit smoother. That resting process takes the edge off the Blanco, makes it nicer to drink just on its own, and gives it a bit more colour as well. The top shelf variety of tequila is of course the Aniejo, or aged tequila. This has very smooth character and more complexity than the other two varieties. Like all other premium spirits, the Aniejo you would expect to have a very different character from producer to producer, depending on the type of barrels they've used and the exact length of time it is aged for, which can be anything from minimum 1 year. They say the best period is 45, but it can be up to 10 years. The traditional way of drinking tequila in Mexico is having it neat with salt in the palm of the hand and lime between the thumb and forefinger. No one knows who thought of putting these ingredients together with Cointreau to make the world's most famous tequila cocktail, the Margarita. But whoever they were, God bless them.
That's a mix.
The basic Margarita contains lime juice, Cointreau, or another orange liqueur, and of course tequila. Usually it's served in a cocktail glass with salt around the rim.
It's just like a milkshake.
Now we go to Margarita.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
¿Les gustó la Margarita o no? Did you like the Margarita?
It's the salt on the rim.
Let's take a bit of a look at the history and culture surrounding tequila. Now, Casa Cuervo is the largest tequila distillery. It started back in 1758. Soon after that, the owner died, his daughter got married. They used the distillery actually as a dowry. The distillery still operates today under her husband's name, La Rojena. But the tequila story's not over here.
Por vuestra pasión sagrada, oh adorable perdón y gracia a este pobre pecado.
Our visit to Tequila coincided with the Easter celebrations. They remember the sacrifice of Jesus Christos, who paid for their spiritual future. There was another man called Jesus who sacrificed his life for the future of a spirit of a different kind. Don Jesus Lopez Roman took it on himself to lead the fight for the purity of tequila. The conflict over the percentage of blue agave used in tequila plagued the last century. At the early 1900s it was 100% blue agave. It went down to 70% and finally hit the bottom at 51%. The balance was usually made up of sugarcane. So in the 1990s, Don Jesus began to lobby the government to bring tequila back to being 100% agave and 100% Mexican. For his efforts, he was shot outside his factory in a gang-style execution. It's been a great few days in Tequila, checking out the town and the history, production and taste of its famous drink. To Mexico we say, adios amigos.
El tequila, aquí está una fábrica. Aquí está una, Corona.